In this video, we are looking at two reference grade IEMs. Okay, the first one is the Er2se, one of my favorite brands when it comes to reference quality IEMs. They have been taken over by Lucid for the last 7-8 years, if I'm not wrong. On the other hand, I have the Akoustyx R115. This one is priced very similarly to the Er2se. Both are around $110. The price can go up and down a bit. This one houses a dynamic driver yet is very well balanced. This one has a single BA driver, and the accuracy of a BA driver is always better than a dynamic driver. Or is it? So that is very interesting in my opinion. Okay, now if I have to conclude this comparison in 1 minute, I can do that. Okay, this is very easy for me. This comparison is very easy for me, but there are things that I need to dive deeper because of the presentation, because of the fit, because of the cable, and the little nuances that these two IEMs have differently presented across the whole spectrum, to be precise. Okay, on the surface these two will sound very similar when heard solitarily. You listen to the ET and you listen to the R115 in a time span of 1 hour, okay, and you will be convinced that these two IEMs sound very similar. But when you AB these two IEMs, you will be surprised by the amount of differences these two IEMs have, and that is kind of baffling, kind of surprising. But let's start it. Okay, if we just look at the cable, Etymotic just comes with a horrible cable. You can see the cable is like a snake. It has a memory of its own, and has very bad kind of behavior to it, bouncy and unruly, to be precise. But there is literally no issues of that with the acoustic cable. It has literally no memory or anything like that. It's very supple, not bouncy, looks much better than the Etymotic, and definitely is very comfortable, and comes with a microphone, 3 button microphone remote too, so you can use it with your mobile phone if you want to, or use it for gaming with a USB DAC amp that supports microphone. Now if we move on to the build and that kind of stuff, build comfort and that kind of stuff, the Akoustyx is loaded with accessories. And look at this jacket. This kind of offers exemplary let me be very clear, exemplary amount of stability inside the ear. It has just superb fit, no issues with fit or anything like that. It is deep enough. Okay, the nozzle is deep enough and offers very good fit. Very similar nozzle width to the Etymotic. Etymotic is a deep fit IEM. This is not as deep, so you guys can see this is very comfortable. If we compare the sizes, there is no comparison, to be precise. Even though this one is a single BA IEM, okay, we can see the BA drivers here. Okay, it's not like we cannot see the BA driver. It is a single BA IEM. Okay, single BA, one BA, but the shell is a bit on the larger side. All of these Akoustyx IEMs in this lineup have similar kind of shell. So the R110, R115 and R120 have very similar kind of shell design, just like the Etymotic. You guys can see the unruliness or the wayward behavior of the Etymotic cable. It just unwound it in its own. In any case, let's move on to the Etymotic. This one is a deep fit IEM, kind of has a deeper penetration than the Akoustyx, and the fit of these IEMs is very vital, to be precise. You cannot have a bad fit and complain that these IEMs are unable to reproduce the accuracy that they have been touting about, to be precise. The high accuracy, okay, is the biggest selling point of this Etymotic IEM. noise isolation in your monitors have very good noise isolation, better than the Akoustyx, to be precise. Akoustyx is not bad with the isolation either, but yes, Etymotic has better noise isolation than the Akoustyx. In any case, there is no comparison when it comes to the fit and that kind of stuff. This one is fairly uncomfortable, this one is not uncomfortable. Both are very similar when it comes to fit and that, but this one is definitely comfortable. Okay, this one is definitely more comfortable than this one. You can use it cable down too, so that is one convenience that you get with the Etymotic. If we move on to the sound quality, that is where these two IEMs, as I was saying, are very similar yet very different. They are reference grade IEMs, but the presentation is varying at various places. Okay, if we start talking about the bass, that is where both of these have similar kind of feel, but this one has a bit more weight behind the notes. It kind of offers better rumbles, okay, better feel of the note than the dynamic driver based Etymotic. This one slightly feels hollowish, so it definitely goes on to show that a single dynamic driver cannot really cover everything, to be precise. Yes, it is a more reference grade IEM and is not trying to offer you a lot of bass body or anything like that, but it still kind of feels slightly hollowish, doesn't have enough substance, enough material within the note, which is not the case with this BA based driver. Okay, this is a full range BA driver and kind of has better bass texture, bass body, bass weight behind the notes. Very good mid bass on both of these, no issues with mid bass or anything like that. Both are clean, clear, detailed, technically very capable. Very good layering, no issues with layering. This one can sound slightly dry, but this one is not dry. Another laughable point, a dynamic driver sounding dry and a BA driver not sounding dry. That is laughable in my opinion, but it is what it is. Let's move on to the dynamics and contrast between back and foreground instruments. Both are very good with that, no issues with that. Dynamics kind of felt like slightly lacking with the dynamic driver. Oh man, this is gonna be fun. Never mind. Okay, so this is this is more dynamic. The BA based IEM is more dynamic than the dynamic driver. Shit, doesn't doesn't heed to all this nonsense that I'm laughing at. Okay, ignore. In any case, let's move on to the upper bass. So both are very clear with the upper bass, no issues with any softness or anything like that. So both are fantastic. Fantastic with the clarity part and technical bits, but the dynamic driver is not dynamic. The BA driver is more dynamic. Oh man. Let's move to the mid range. That is where the emphasis with the instruments and the vocal range kind of changes with the Akoustyx. Okay, this one offers a slightly more distantly placed vocal region, while the instruments are more closed in. It is not V-shaped, let me be very clear. It does not have any V-shaped presentation to it, but with some tracks it kind of feels like the vocals, the artists that are singing those words are placed slightly further than the instruments, which is not the case with the Etymotic. Etymotic has the whole stage in one plane, but that kind of makes it sound a bit more flattish, slightly lacking with the z-axis depth, while the Akoustyx has a bit more z-axis depth and has slightly better texture too. While this one is a bit more polished, I kind of felt that it could have had a bit more texture. It could have definitely have had a bit more texture, but the Akoustyx has slightly better texture and marginally better definition. Okay, with the vocals. Okay, with the vocals I'm talking about. This one has more resolution though. The finishing definition on this one is slightly cleaner, but the resolution on the Etymotic is better with the vocals. Both have similar kind of texture. I kind of felt that this was slightly better, but yeah, very marginal, to be precise. Now if we move on to the instruments, that is where the Etymotic is slightly ahead of the acoustics. Acoustics, even though has slightly closed in instruments, it kind of feels like the instruments do not have the kind of depth the Etymotic is offering. They have a very deep kind of note, and they definitely resolve slightly more detail with the Etymotic, while the acoustic is not lacking with the details, but they kind of feel like they are slightly less resolving. Okay, but somehow they kind of felt like, yeah, this is not exactly perfect, while the Etymotic can sound very close to perfect with the instrumental presentation. Now tonality and timbre, this one is slightly crispy, okay, slightly crispy and slightly lightweight with the presentation. Instruments are slightly floaty, they do not have a lot of grounding, while the Etymotic has very well grounded notes. It kind of offers fantastic note height, as I have always been saying, in the mid range. Now when it comes to tonality and timbre, this one is good. This one is slightly better, slightly less fatiguing, while this one can be slightly fatiguing. Cohesion is slightly better on the acoustics, but this one is accuracy oriented. So yeah, that is that. If we talk about the upper mids, that is where these two IEMs are very similar. No issues with energy or anything like that. If you can handle one, you can handle the other two without any issues. Now the treble range is where the thing gets very interesting. Acoustics has a bigger stage, and that shows up with the treble range. It has better air between the instruments and exactly same kind of accuracy and precision as the Etymotic. Has better layering, better separation, better three-dimensional positioning of instruments is available with the acoustics, and is slightly cleaner too. Even though this one is known for its precision, somehow its smaller staging kind of feels slightly limiting. In any case, both are very good when it comes to the reference sound quality, but if you want a more comfortable, slightly less a referencey kind of IEM, you can definitely opt for the acoustics. Acoustics is a lot more comfortable, doesn't veer away from the reference sound quality, but offers slightly better dynamics. Okay, the variation in the similarly placed instruments or similarly frequency based instruments have a bit more better dynamics to them. So this is it. This is my comparison of Etymotic Er2se and Akoustyx R115. Two very similar yet very slightly differently presented reference quality IEMs under or around $100. So this is it, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Enjoy.